Welcome to Classic Science Fiction. We're embarking on a journey through extraordinary worlds, bold ideas, and unforgettable stories that have shaped the genre. Today, imagine yourself in the perfect world of the 23rd century. Endless pleasure, youth, and freedom, but with one condition. When you turn 30, your time is up. Beginning as a novel in 1967, transforming into a visual feast in 1976, with its short-lived series and decades of remake attempts, Logan's run has kept us running for half a century. Let's discover the story, grandeur, and legacy of this bold dystopia together. That's right, we're taking a deep dive into this truly unique and, well, evolving piece of science fiction. It really reflects the times it came from, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And it still sparks conversation today. You've brought us this fascinating stack of sources covering its whole journey, page to screen, and everything after. I'm really looking forward to unpacking this with you.
Yeah, it's a really compelling choice, I think, for a deep dive because Logan's run has had such a significant cultural footprint, for over 50 years.
Half a century, yeah.
It's not just one story. It's a whole body of work, novel, film, TV series, comics.
Mm-hmm.
And that longevity, well, it says a lot about the power of its core idea. It lets us trace how it evolved and the big questions it asks across different times.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. The birth of the novel, 1967.
Right.
William F. Nolan and George Clayton Johnson. And one detail from the sources really jumped out at me. Nolan's very practical decision, apparently, to draft the novel and a script at the same time.
Yeah.
For double money. That feels pretty entrepreneurial for a sci-fi author back then. What does that tell us maybe about the commercial side of genre fiction then? Did that mindset shape the story itself, do you think?
That's a great point. I mean, late 60s sci-fi was definitely gaining ground, but it wasn't the huge blockbuster genre we see now.
Right.
So Nolan's approach, it shows he knew a story with strong visual potential could, well, find a bigger audience and maybe more financial success if he aimed for both print and screen right away. It shows an author trying to maximize, the impact beyond just the literary world and the core story in the novel.
Yeah.
Well, it's this youth utopia where life ends sharply at 21.
21. Much younger than the movie.
Much younger. Intense hedonism right up until last day
Yeah.
when you report for termination. Logan 3, our main guy, he's a Sandman. His job is hunting down runners,
Yeah.
people who try to escape.
And Sanctuary in the book is actually real.
Yes, exactly. It's an actual off-world colony near Mars.
Yeah.
A genuine escape route, not just a myth.
So the novel's not just this fun futuristic concept, it's digging into ageism, the idea that tech can't just replace human experience. That's a pretty powerful core idea from the get-go.
Definitely.
And it makes total sense for the time, right? The 60s were tumultuous social unrest, Vietnam, civil rights. So the book kind of pushed back against some of the youth movements, questioning if a purely young world would actually be better.
A counter-narrative, yeah. Nolan himself believed a world without older people would likely break down. No one left to teach the youth. Technology isn't enough. People are.
And the initial reactions, it sounds like it made a splash.
Oh, it did. Nolan later said the film was maybe a good popcorn film that missed some subtext.
Yeah.
But the novel, he said, made our careers.
Can't argue with that.
And that core idea just kept going. Nolan wrote sequels. Logan's Search, Logan's World, Logan's Return, short stories too.
Right.
George Clayton Johnson apparently worked on Jessica's run, though it wasn't printed. And people are still exploring it, like Jason V. Brock with Logan Falls. It clearly had legs from the start.
Okay, let's jump from the page to the big screen. The 1976 film adaptation really brought it to life visually.
Huge visual leap. MGM's project, Michael Anderson directing.
And some fascinating production details here, like George Powell tried to make it back in '69.
Yeah, early on. He even thought about Robert Redford for Logan. Imagine that.
Wow. But it was Stanley R. Greenberg who wrote Soylent Green. He came up with the carousel idea. David Zelig Goodman wrote the final script, though. That carousel sequence, it's just so visually iconic, isn't it? How much do you think that specific element elevated the story?
Oh, massively. Carousel is absolutely pivotal. It takes this abstract idea of termination and makes it visceral, spectacular, and honestly pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
It's this grand theatrical ritual that just perfectly captures the city's fake promise of renewal and its, well, underlying brutality.
And the casting, too. Michael York as Logan 5. I read he loved the irony of playing someone fearing 30 when he was 33 himself.
Huh.
Yeah.
And Jenny Agutter as Jessica 6. Richard Jordan as Francis 7, and a very young Farrah Fawcett as Holly 13.
Oh, right. Michael York apparently suggested her after seeing her play tennis.
That's the story. And you can't forget Peter Ustinov as the old man. Just perfect casting.
Now, this is where the film really diverges from the novel in some key ways, isn't it?
It says big changes.
The age limit jumps from 21 to 30, partly for casting, I guess.
Yeah, partly to get more established, maybe slightly older actors like York.
Yeah.
Made it more feasible for Hollywood.
Uh-huh. And Sanctuary. Not Mars anymore.
Nope. It becomes this legend inside the city, a myth, not a real place they can escape to, at least not initially.
And the ending is totally different. Logan and Jessica go back to the city to try and change things instead of just escaping. Why those changes, do you think? How did they reshape the message?
That's a really good question, because those shifts are crucial. Raising the age, okay, maybe makes it more relatable to a slightly wider audience beyond just teenagers, making Sanctuary an internal myth that traps the characters, right? Intensifies the feeling of being in a prison you can't truly leave.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that shift in the ending, going back to confront the system instead of just running away, I think that's a key insight into the film's message. It suggests real change might have to come from within.
Challenging the system.
Exactly. It let the film explore more than just youth obsession. It digs into hedonism, control, even environmental themes, overcrowding, resources. You could see it as critique of the me generation of the 70s.
Right. And maybe a warning about just ditching the older generations entirely.
Precisely.
And the production itself was pretty ambitious for the time. One is a special Oscar for visual effects, right?
Yeah.
And Saturn Awards.
Yeah, 6 Saturns, including Best Sci-Fi Film. And it was the first film to use Dolby Stereo on 70mm prints. That was a big deal technically.
Wow. And those miniature city sets, 9 sound stages.
Yes.
And they used actual holograms.
Genuine holograms for Logan's interrogation scene. Really cutting-edge stuff back then. They were committed to making that future feel real, immersive. And, you know, beyond the big effects, some really memorable characters came out of it. Box, the robot.
Oh, Box is creepy.
Super creepy. Played by Roscoe Lee Brown in a suit. Apparently, you can actually see his lips and teeth through a slit in the mask if you look close.
No way.
Yeah. And his backstory. He was meant to capture marine life, but ended up freezing runners for food.
Ugh. That's dark. A definite nod to Soylent Green.
Totally. Brown's voice, that silky delivery, and the whole concept makes Box a really underrated villain, I think.
And they were clever with locations, too, weren't they? Save money by using real buildings.
Yeah, save like $3 million that way.
Yeah.
Smart filmmaking.
Which places, it gives it that weirdly familiar but futuristic vibe. Like you see those places and think, huh, that could be a dystopia. It almost makes it more unsettling.
You're absolutely right. That choice was brilliant. The Dallas Apparel Mart, that became the Great Hall.
Ah, okay.
Fort Worth Water Gardens provided that amazing futuristic look. Houston's Hyatt Regency was in there too. It gave the city that distinct shopping mall aesthetic you mentioned.
Yeah. And the outside scenes, post-apocalyptic DC.
That was Malibu Creek Park.
Yeah.
And you have to mention Jerry Goldsmith's score.
Oh, yeah. That electronic sound.
So iconic.
Yeah.
Unsettling, mechanical.
Yeah.
Very Forbidden Planet-esque.
Right. And some stuff got cut. Nudity, a longer box scene.
Yeah, they trimmed things for a PG rating and just for length. Even apparently cut a political joke about Nixon.
But despite all that effort, the reception was kind of mixed. Critically reviled, but financially successful, is what one source said.
Yeah. Reviews were definitely divided. Some loved the first half, called it dazzling, but found the second half dreary. Some critics even thought it felt a bit dated, even for 76. But financially, it did well. And it definitely laid groundwork for other stories.
That's a key insight, isn't it? Even films with mixed reviews can end up being really influential. You see its DNA in things like In Time or The Island.
Absolutely. The life clock, the dome city,
Yeah.
those images stuck around. They endure.
Okay, so let's zoom out from the big screen to the small one, the TV series in 1977.
Right, the quick follow.
CBS produced it, but it only lasted 1 season, 14 episodes.
Yep, very short run. Gregory Harrison played Logan. Heather Menzies was Jessica, and they added a new character, RM, an android played by Donald Moffat.
So how did it work as a series?
It kind of fell into that standard 70s sci-fi weekly adventure format.
Monster of the Week, almost.
Sort of, yeah. Logan, Jessica, and RM would wander around, encountering different societies, different threats each episode, still looking for sanctuary.
So it changed things up quite a bit from the film and novel.
Oh, yeah. Pushed the timeline further into the future, 2319.
Yeah.
And there was this big retcon. A secret council of elders actually ran the dome city, and they were exempt from Carousel.
Ah, okay. So the Sandmen were just enforcing rules the powerful didn't follow themselves. Classic.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And Francis, Logan's Sandman buddy turned pursuer. His motivation changed too. But what's interesting, despite its reputation for being maybe a little bland,
Yeah.
it had scripts from some big Star Trek names, like DC Fontana and Harlan Ellison.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. The stories covered everything from android romance to, like, haunted houses in space. So the talent was there, on paper at least.
So why didn't it last? Just low ratings.
Low ratings were the main thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But you also have to consider the timing. You mentioned it earlier, 1977.
Ah, Star Wars.
Exactly. The Star Wars effect, it just exploded onto the scene a year after the Logan's Run movie and completely changed what audiences wanted from sci-fi.
Right. Suddenly, maybe a weekly show with deeper themes felt slow.
It felt out of step, maybe. Star Wars was all about spectacle, fun, escapism on a huge scale. Logan's run on TV, even with good writers, probably couldn't compete with that kind of cultural shift.
Makes sense. An impossible act to follow.
But, like a lot of shows that don't last, it did pick up a cult following later on. People found things to appreciate in its more thoughtful, episodic approach.
Okay, so the story didn't just end there. It branched out into other media too, right? This expanding universe.
Exactly. The core idea just kept grabbing people. Marvel Comics did a series in '77. George Perez drew it, adapting the movie.
Oh, Perez, nice.
Yeah, but it got canceled super fast, like 7 issues in, on a cliffhanger.
Why?
Turns out Marvel only had rights to adapt the movie plot, not create totally new stories. So, boom, canceled.
Oh.
Later, Malibu Comics and Blue Water Productions did their own comics too. And it wasn't just comics. There were audio projects, like Logan's Sanctuary, this electronica album that was sort of pitched as a soundtrack for a sequel that never happened. It just shows, the enduring appeal. It's an insight, really, into how a strong concept keeps inspiring people to play in that world, find new angles, whether it's print, audio, even fan stuff.
Which brings us to the saga of the remake, the movie remake that never seems to happen.
Oh, the remake saga. It's been going on since the 90s. Joel Silver, Warner Bros., they hold the rights, and they've been trying for ages.
And some huge names have been attached over the years. That really speaks to the power of the original idea, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Directors like Bryan Singer, Joseph Kosinski, who did Tron, Legacy and Top Gun, Maverick, even Nicholas Winding Refn.
Refn, wow, that would have been different.
Wouldn't it? Writers, too. Peter Craig, who worked on The Hunger Games, Alex Garland.
Alex Garland. Okay, that makes sense. And Ryan Gosling was attached to star at one point.
Yeah, Gosling was in the mix for a while. It's like a revolving door of talent. And, these attempts haven't always been smooth sailing. There was that whole debate around 2015 about maybe making Logan female.
Oh, right. Inspired by things like Hunger Games, presumably?
Exactly. Female-driven dystopias were big. But William F. Nolan, the original co-author, was apparently not a fan. He felt Logan's story is his story. George Clayton Johnson agreed.
Interesting pushback from the creators.
Yeah. Nolan actually said he'd prefer a remake to be darker, maybe closer to the novel's original age limit of 21. That's a pretty powerful insight into how they still saw their creation.
So where does it stand now? Still stuck?
Pretty much still in development hell. Gizmodo speculated its future was even more uncertain after Joel Silver stepped down in 2019. It seems like everyone agrees it's a great concept for a remake, but finding the right take for today, that's proving really tricky.
So let's talk legacy. What's its lasting impact? It really feels like a pioneer, doesn't it? Especially for youth dystopias.
Oh, absolutely. It's foundational for stories about societies obsessed with youth. With strict age limits, you see echoes of it everywhere.
And visually, too, right? The dome city, the life crystal, the life clock. Even if some critics thought the design was dated back then, those images influenced later stuff. It's an insight into how even a flawed vision can really leave a mark.
Totally. And if you think about the themes, they're still incredibly relevant.
Yeah. Like what specifically?
Well, the obsession with age and youth, that hasn't gone away. Anti-establishment feelings, still here. Even those uncomfortable discussions you sometimes hear about, thinning the herd for the planet's sake, that resonates chillingly with the film's premise.
Wow, yeah.
And that critique of, ancient old fogies who own everything while young people struggle, that feels very current, doesn't it?
It really does. And you mentioned contrasting it with Star Wars earlier.
Yeah, that comparison is key historically. Logan's Run came out just a year before, representing that sort of dour, cynical 70s sci-fi vibe.
Right.
Then Star Wars arrives. and ushers in this era of fun, wonder, pure escapism that just revitalized the whole genre for the mainstream studios. It really highlights a major turning point in sci-fi.
So if there's one big takeaway, one overarching insight Logan's run leaves us with, maybe it's just that constant push to question things. Who holds power? Why? What truths do we just accept?
Exactly. It's a timeless challenge just wrapped up in this cool, sometimes dated, but always thought-provoking futuristic package.
Thinking about it all. For me, I think it's the film's visual flair, that unique 70s look that sticks with me more than the novel. Even with the plot changes, the sheer ambition of the look, those iconic visuals, yeah, that's what resonates most deeply for me. What about you?
I think I lean towards the film too, actually. Partly for those visuals, but also because I think simplifying the plot, maybe making it a bit less meandering than the novel, and crucially having them go back to challenge the system. That makes the film's message maybe more impactful, more enduring. It raises those big questions about freedom and control in a way that really stays with you.
So after all that, the big question for you, our listener, is how do you think Logan's Run should be remade for today's audience, if at all? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Logan's Run. Next time, we will examine the Space 1999 series.